In today's video, we're going to check out the brand new Realme GT8 Pro. Now, there's two versions of this device. There's the standard edition version, which comes in a couple of colors, and there is obviously the Dream Edition or the Aston Martin edition that comes in that same collaboration that we saw earlier this year. And what I like about this is the GT8 Pro comes in with tangible upgrades from the 7 Pro that we had last year. First, obviously the processor, the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. We're also talking about a 2K display at 144 Hz, an upgrade in that area. We're also talking about a 7,000 milliampere, the higher peak brightness, the RAM configuration, the storage, the experiences, the cameras that we have in here also are jumping into the next level. We're talking about a 200 megapixel camera for the telephoto lens here that is capable of doing all of the same functions and all of the same camera experiences from 8K to 4K 120 as the main sensor. So what Realme is doing here in collaboration with Ricoh as far as the cameras is very new to Realme, and it's a tangible experience change from what we've known them for. So let's check out the Realme GT8 Pro both in standard and Dream Edition and see what makes them so special. Like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos for you on the channel. So in front of us we have both versions of it. There's the Dream Edition or the Aston Martin, obviously Aston Martin Green. This is Dream Edition. It's a custom made edition specifically for the GT8 Pro. Again, Realme has worked with them before, and I think this collaboration absolutely looks fantastic. Here is the GT8 Pro, again by Ricoh. This is the processing here, or the co-engineered with Ricoh, and this is going to be the standard edition. Both of them are AI phones for the most part. Most of the features that we're looking at both of these experiences are going to be pretty much the same. What makes them unique is the design. Putting them next to each other, first thing that'll stand out to us obviously is the fact that they don't look the same, right? They have maybe the same shape, but the camera module on the back looks different. Yes, that's one of the things that makes the GT8 Pro very unique as far as the device. On top of the collaboration with Aston Martin, they also have custom plates that we're able to change, making it possible for us to go from a square to a circle back camera module. Now, a lot of companies this year, for some reason, are going into the square where they used to be mostly circular. I like the fact that this is how they're designing it here. They're giving us the option to pick and choose what we want. Now, the nice thing about it, out of the box, it does actually come in with the circle, and you are able to pick up additional cases as well as a module. So this case comes with this, as you can see here, the Aston Martin. Now, the custom edition Aston Martin does come with two cases, one for a circular module and one for a square module that is also included in the box. But if you want to be able to pick them up separately, they will have them in as far as an accessory here. You can pick them up specifically made for the GT8 Standard Edition. And there is going to be an additional set of module to allow you to customize your camera module here. It looks really, really nice. And I've done a couple of contents on that before on this channel. So if you want to check it out, I did the unboxing on the Aston Martin Edition. I also showed how to replace the actual modules. For a quick unboxing, the Aston Martin Aramco Formula One team, of course, we have GT8 Pro Dream Edition. Pretty much mirrored again. It's official licensed material, so this is officially licensed through Aston Martin, and of course providing us that unique experience. Now, when you first open it up, you're greeted directly with basically a front part of the Aston Martin car. Of course, that's the race car, and this is where the circular module makes more sense for me, the way at least it's set up in here. So again, for the most part, you get the circular module. We get the nice co-branding here. Let's go ahead and open it up, and then when you open it up, you're greeted with the screwdriver. This is basically a torque screwdriver that allows us to remove these two screws on the right side, and it allows us to actually replace the piece. As you can see here, we have the actual additional plate. This is very straightforward. It has some nice cushionings on the back, and it does not impede or does anything to the water resistance that we have on this device. So before we go too far, this is featuring the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, 120 watt charging here and 50 watt wireless charging, as we do support that. Again, this is that 7,000 milliampere battery, as you see here, 7,000. And of course, we have a 2K 144 Hz display with up to 7,000 nits of brightness. We also have an IP69 dust and water resistance. Now, Ricoh here, as far as the GR main camera, the 200 megapixel camera are tuned, so you're going to get that flavoring, that experience that we get there. And there's even a special camera mode in there specifically by Ricoh. Looking otherwise here, we have a charger. This is a European charger. Again, 120 watts charging, USB-A to USB-C cable. We do have that extra case, as I mentioned to you guys. We do get the additional case as well as the additional cover here for both the circular module as well as the square module. And then last but not least, we also have a very nice, a very unique SIM ejector tool here that is in the shape of an Aston Martin because it's positioned there. So it's very, very nice. And this entire experience here is very unique. And I love the fact that Here, you're getting two modules. You're getting both the modules that you would expect, the square and the circle, with the same co-branding that we have in there. And if you actually turn it on the inside, it actually kind of shows you a little bit of an outline of exactly how it looks like. This is the camera module, the way it shows on the back of the phone. You can go square, circle, and they include the cases for both of them. Now we see here right there, the wings, the reflective material. This is actually very nice texture built in on the back. We have Realme, Formula One, Aramco in here, and of course you have the Aston Martin logo, the Aston Martin green here, sorry for the reflection that we're getting there. Again, the 200 megapixel is going to be the telephoto lens, and we also have a 50 megapixel main and a 50 megapixel ultra wide. The 7000 milliampere battery is going to be the main battery here, 50-watt charging for the wireless, up to 50 watts. And of course, we have here a USB-C charging for the up to 120 watts, of course, with the included charger. We have dual SIM support, as well as the ability of using eSIM, a bottom-firing speaker, and one of the microphones. On the right side, we have a nice, basically accented power button that we have, very easy to recognize, and of course, a volume rocker. On the top, we have the top-mounted speaker, and of course, the IR blaster. On the left side, basically a clean slate, and of course, on the front, we have that beautiful custom edition here again with the custom theme that I have the lock screen. Of course, we have an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor here, very, very nice. So we talked about the processor, the 8 Elite Gen 5, the 5000 or 7000 milliampere battery. This model does come with 16 gigs of RAM with the additional up to 12 used from the storage that we have, which has a 512 gigs of storage. You'll notice right there that it says Realme UI 7.0, which essentially runs on Android 16. It's the latest version of the software. Front-facing camera, it's a 32 megapixel camera. We have a 50, 50, and 200. We talked about basically the model software version that we have here is the RMX 5210. And of course, the Trinity engine, NFC, of course, support. The display that we have in here is a 6.79-inch display at 144 hertz. And of course, it's a 2K display. So it's a higher resolution than the 1.5K last year on the GT7 Pro. Now, when it comes to these two devices, for the most part, on the internals, they're pretty much the same. The custom edition, the custom lock screen, as well as the custom theme that we have in here are one of the unique things. And of course, the custom design on the side. But battery capacity, storage and RAM configuration, you're able to get the same level of experience. And of course, the software experience is pretty much mirrored on that. We have Google Feed on the left side, very straightforward. And of course, as you can see here, the refresh rate is absolutely fantastic. This is absolutely one of the largest batteries on the market today. It is not the largest. Obviously, we've seen other devices come with 7300 and 7500. 7000 is a nice bump from the 6500 that we had last year, but it is still light years ahead of some of the 5000s that I think we still see on the market. One thing that I will say as far as compatibility in the US, I know a lot of us like to see that. There is no issue as far as compatibility and download. You'll see here in my first time I was doing, I locked in at 5G on T-Mobile. The next one was an LTE that was just, again, not that bad considering 120. But on 5G, 557 down, 113 up. Again, this is T-Mobile in the LA area. It should not be an issue at all. And as you can see here, I have my connection and it's working. As far as the overall performance though, this is where it starts surprising you, really. The benchmarks and the performance that we get in here is on par with what you should expect with an 8 Elite Gen 5. So meaning this is going to be the best performing chipset from Qualcomm, and it is going to be reigning supreme from now till the end of the year. Now, there is a GT mode and a standard mode. This is actually running in GT mode. You can kind of see the logo sitting here on the top right side. So overall, when you run it in gaming mode or GT mode, you're able to activate it directly. Either you go directly into the notification panel and then locate the GT mode and just activate it. It's pretty straightforward. When you turn it on, you'll get a little bit of a visual effect here and does the little racing effect. We'll get into the camera and we'll talk about that in a second. So from a performance, again, this is not going to disappoint and it is definitely going to be great. I love the fact that we can customize our device, not just internally, but even also on the outside. Now, before we go too far, I do want to mention that Realme is launching the Realme Buds Clip. These are open ear solution earbuds that you basically just clip to your ears, and they really sound very, very nice. The experience is pretty straightforward. You go into the Bluetooth setting in here, configure them, connect to them, and if you want to be able to get additional configuration, you can actually go in directly into the Realme Link app. Go ahead and connect them. You can see the battery level, change the EQ mode, customize the experience that you want. Go in there, dynamic audio, of course, bass boost plus, of course, AI features with actual translation functionality, face-to-face translation. And I really like about the fact is that you're able to use the device as the conversation part, and you can actually listen directly to the translation in your ears. Now, of course, we have game mode and of course, mind flow mode, personalizations in here, button settings, of course, dual connection, as you can be able to actually connect it to more than one device. But for the most part, a very nice addition. Very small. If you're open or if you're a fan of this style of earbuds, these are definitely going to really work very nicely. The nice thing about them, of course, is you can actually be in the moment and be aware of your environment and still be able to enjoy your music. Very nice, and of course they're carrying in very nice long battery life. Switching into the camera experience, overall this is going to be a powerhouse of a camera system. This is very different than what we're used to seeing from Realme, and this is very refreshing. So first and foremost, we talked about the 32. We have a 50 and 50 and a 200 on the back. As I mentioned to you guys at the beginning, Ricoh has a lot of the work done here to collaborate with Realme to provide you a unique experience. They even come down to a specific mode that has a Pro and a standard mode they're able to use to customize the experience with the two focal lengths that we have in here. Essentially, the primary and the telephoto lens is where they work together. They do have an ultra-wide experience, but it does not carry over to the Ricoh mode. As far as photography, obviously ultra-wide, main, telephoto at the up to 3, the 2 is just a crop, and of course the 6 is a hybrid zoom in there. We have video mode, capture mode, AI landscape mode, of course a few additional options in here, portrait mode and more. And of course you can see all the different experiences here if you want to be able to pause and take a look at that. The main thing I'll probably say is, for me, the main camera is fantastic. The telephoto lens is exquisite. They've really done a good job at calibrating the color experience and the performance of the sensors on here. And I really appreciate them that actually focusing on this experience and giving us that experience here. Now you can customize the experience here, shooting in RAW Max, or even in JPEG mode. And of course the telephoto in the portrait mode is going to jump out automatically into that mode when you first shoot into it. We're going to start off with the front-facing camera here on the brand new GT8 Pro. Now 4K 60 is going to be the best resolution we're able to shoot here. We also have HDR, really some solid experiences built into the front-facing camera. And of course the audio experience is very clear. This is just a quick sample in case you want to be able to see as a reference how to use the front-facing camera for calls, for video, or even just, vlogging, or even doing some, social media recording. Let's go ahead and switch over on the main sensor to the main sensor on the back. Switching over to the main sensor on the back, obviously 4K 120, 4K 60 is going to be capable there. We also have 8K capabilities. Now the nice thing about this is that the telephoto lens, that 200 megapixel camera that we have on here, can also support 4K 120 and 8K 30, which is different than some of the other options that we see on the market. We typically get a really good shooter and they pretty much keep the 8K functionality to the main sensor. So that means if you want to be able to get closer to the subject and still be able to get the best resolution, this device kind of covers you on both. The 200 megapixel telephoto has been amazing, has done really good stuff for me. I've been using it to cover events with my son's performances at football games, and even just going in and capturing some of those content that I can't get close to the subject. I have to use a telephoto lens. So it's really nice to see that if we want 4K 60, you're going to be able to get it on all the lenses. The ultra wide, which is a 50 and another 50 for the main sensor, and the telephoto can shoot that. If you want to go to 4K 60, 4K 120, all the way up to 8K, the telephoto and the main sensor can definitely deliver there. So very well-rounded device. Again, the GT8 Pro is knocking things out of the park. I'm really happy and very satisfied with what we're able to not only get, but also the possibilities of what we can do with this. Now, as you saw there in the video, it absolutely sounds really, really nice. And of course, the capabilities on here, the ability of using the telephoto lens at the fullest extent of what the system can perform for us, is a big game changer for Realme. This is not just the main camera can do the best experience, the telephoto can do that and even better, because it's able to bring in subjects to us at a very high fidelity and high quality, of course. And even, again, you can go into the Ricoh mode and capture content even better with that. Now, we're going to talk about the speakers. Of course, audio experience. This is, again, Jumbo by NCS Release. We're playing at 100% volume here. This is going to be the experience just to see how the speakers work, the stereo speakers on the GT8 Pro. Sound fantastic, no distortion, no issues in the sound at the high volumes, which is absolutely fantastic and of course appreciated here. Now, of course, we are going to talk about some of the experiences here when it comes down to gaming, but the overall experience that we're looking here, again, this is leveraging Realme OS for many, many years and experiences. We have Mindspace in here that allows us to actually leverage experiences in here. You can just do 3 fingers up, it swipes up and takes a picture, sends it into the Mindspace experience. Again, we talked about the Google Feed in here. Also have the nice little functional option here. We'll actually turn on this option and we're able to open up articles like this, and let's go ahead and click it here and use the AI Speak feature that is built in to read the article for us without even having to spend time reading it. Not even Dragon Balls. And as you can see here, it starts reading it for us. And the nice thing about it is, let's say you're driving, you're in an area where you can't read what's on the screen, you can turn it off for anything. Emails, articles, anything that is on the screen, the AI system will read it. And of course, it'll start reading it for you at the pace that you need it to customize. And you can change a couple of things as far as the speed and even skipping forward. So very nice. And of course, last but not least, of course, the ability of using the AI features directly within, again, the gallery application. So we have the AI Recompose, Eraser, the Ultra Clarity, the AI Sketch to Image in here, AI Perfect Shot, the Unblur, Remove Reflection, and of course, Glare Removal, and last but not least is AI Landscape. So all of these things customized, and again, as you saw there, the player was actually still sitting there, and you can customize and get a lot more functions. AI writing experiences in there when you're writing on social media. It'll help you customize those experiences. Very, very nice. Now, let's talk about gaming and what we're able to do with this device. Let's go ahead and minimize the volume. GT Boost mode is obviously going to be powering this. You can either activate it directly from the notification panel, or you can just go into the gaming mode. Now, once you log into the game launcher positions itself on the left. You're able to activate the top side here to change between power saving, balanced, or GT. Out of the box, it's always set to be in balanced mode, but you can change that. Also, you're able to turn on hyper frame rate experience here, hyper HDR for better color calibration, and of course, a higher resolution in there to get the best gaming experience possible. Now, it already supports 120 frames per second on Call of Duty. Of course, we have touch response very high in there, and of course, a screen refresh rate at the highest. You can customize a few things. Last but not least, we also have system information, which is always appreciated to see what your system is performing at when you're playing games and you're looking at the experience in here. There's not going to be an issue gaming on this device. It's powered by not only the latest chipset, a large battery that lasts you all day and then some. I'm talking and carrying you through the day. This is not a 7,500 milliamp hour like some of the other devices we've seen, but at 7,000, this is literally one of the largest batteries you're able to get in a device that doesn't feel like it's that big of a battery that's inside. That's the best way to describe it. The aesthetics are very thin, very slim, and the weight is actually very nice. The distribution on this is very nice. And as you see in there with the gaming experience, jumping in from different games, different experiences, they're definitely going to be playing at the best. 144 Hertz and again, a 2K display is a very nice combination. Typically, we'll see a 1.5K to get us up to 165. Here, we're going 2K, 144, which I feel like is a good experience overall. You're able to use the 144, by the way, throughout the UI, not just in gaming mode, which is, again, is another thing that Realme is doing different here. Let's start talking about talking about the cameras and what we should expect from a device like this. This is a step forward in the camera technology as far as what we're getting here. We're not getting just a triple 50 megapixel camera system here. We're getting a 200 megapixel camera that actually performs very nicely. The telephoto lens on this device is beautiful for the natural bokeh drop, for bringing in subjects that are pretty far. As I'm showing you guys with some of the examples, I've been attending a lot of my son's competitions recently, and we're typically sitting in the stands. And as you can imagine with a football field, I'm actually having to try to get closer to the subject as much as possible without having to basically kind of walk all the way down. And the telephoto lens actually has been doing quite well, even though in not necessarily the brightest experiences, although there are some stadium lights, it still needs to actually be a good camera. And I feel like the camera system that we have in here is really, really nice. The main sensor is very good. The front-facing camera also is very nice. I like the color calibration. The peak brightness that we have in here means we can use it indoors, outdoors, no problem. Direct sunlight on this device, no issues at all. You're not going to have any problem not only reading, but also enjoying your content on this. The fact that it has a 7,000 milliamp hour battery means we can use this at its full power and still not be able to burn through a battery life cycle in a single day, which is very nice. I like the fact that it charges up to 120 watts, which is different again than some of the other options that we have that are typically limited between 80 to 100. And I know I'm like referencing some of the other, I would say, in-family devices. Why I'm mentioning them is because the way Realme is calibrating and doing their approach to the GT8 Pro is unique in its own, even within family, and of course, even to comparing it when you're looking at some of the other options on the market. So if you're looking for a device that embodies the best of the best what Realme has to offer, the great price point that this device comes in. You have both the standard edition and the Dream Edition. If you even want to go into the Dream Edition, you're going to get a very nice experience, a very inclusive experience with a very nice unboxing there, of course. I think the standard version of it also really is compelling in what it offers because, again, at its core, all of the functionalities that we talked about today are present on both. The unique design and the unboxing experience are primarily what gets the Dream Edition its own flavoring, and I think that's really good, especially for Aston Martin fans. As when we talk about GT and we're talking about speed, this embodies the speed of what Aston Martin and the GT series does. So with that being said, I do want to say thank you very much to Realme for allowing me to check out the GT8 Pro. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Have you used Realme devices before, especially the GT series? As I know there are other series or other classes of devices that Realme puts out. This is the best of the best, and this is going to carry them for 2026. So Like and subscribe as usual. I will see you in the next video, and bye-bye for now.